Hello friends, welcome to the Jazz Ranch. Hipsters, flipsters, finger popping daddies, and groovy chicks. Welcome back. It's winter time here and we're dealing with it. But anyway, I have a special request. Someone asked for the song Body and Soul. It's one of the great standards. It was performed by everyone from Billie Holiday to Coleman Hawkins, and all the great stars have played this standard song, which will live through the ages. And I have a quote for you from Horace Silver, one of my favorite pianists, and he said this. He said that jazz music stimulates the minds and uplifts the souls of those who play it, as well as those who listen and immerse themselves in it. As the mind is stimulated and the soul uplifted, this is eventually reflected in the body. So he talked about body, mind, and soul. I love that. And so now here we go with two versions of Body and Soul. One playing with a backing track, like playing with a bass player and a drummer, and then how to play it solo-wise, just solo piano. So here we go with the two versions of Body and Soul. Now on this first version of Body and Soul, I'm playing with a backing track, Band in the Box. So I'm playing with a bass player and a drummer that's pre-recorded. So you have to follow them. They're not going to follow you like live musicians would. So you have to really listen. So the good thing, the good experience you're going to get from this is to play in time, with good time, with a rhythm section, but also listen to them and try to create a unit between you and the bass and the drums. You want to have it to be a unit. So now, this is something you can do if you're a beginner, because you can just play along with it with a melody. Although you might want to pick an easier tune than this because it's in the key of D flat, which is 5 flats. But nevertheless, you can play simple chords like this, just triads. You know. I'm not playing in tempo right there, but I'm showing you the voicings here. In other words, you can, if you're beginner level, well, intermediate even, you can play even root and seventh, simple, and root and third like this. Like that, root and seventh, root and third, root and seventh, root and sixth, root and seventh. Passing tone, root and seventh, now to root and third, like that. So you simplify the left hand and try to stay steady with the rhythm section and make it sound like you're swinging, you know. But now, to invert it, to invert the chords, I'm playing rootless voicings. Now, what's the question? This is the question that always comes into mind, is like, how do you play a rootless voicing when you're playing the melody in the mid-range and the chord should be played in the same range? Well, you have to adapt the two together, like, you know, sitting on a bus with another person on the next seat. But anyway, something like this. I take that top note out, but I still play the rootless voicing up here. Now that just means I'm inverting it to the first inversion, dropping the root and adding the ninth. But I have to take that out of there because the melody's there. So I can go like this. And then for the B flat 7, flat 9, I can do just this. Now you might say, well, why not do that in the right hand? Well, you could, but now what are you going to do in your left hand? Because you don't want to be down here where the bass player is. You want to be more or less, this is the good range, you know, this is the good range for chords right in here, between here and maybe there. Maybe there is the best range for chords. Then they get too dark or they get too bright, you know, so mid-range is best. So like that, I can put the flat 9 in there, which is nice. Now there I can play the full chord. Now get to the A flat 7 there, you see. That's an A flat 13, flat 7, 9, 3, and 13. Then I play this. You don't need to put that bass note in with the bass player playing there, but that's the bass note, so you can hear it. Now this is a 6-9 chord, D flat 6-9. There's your 6 and 9. I just like the sound of that right there. And then the G flat 7 is right there, or G flat 13. Then the F minor, I play it as an F minor 7, but in root position. Why? I could play it up there, which is all right, but I like it here because I can add some harmony in the right hand here. I use that. Now that's a double diminished chord. What is that exactly? Well, it's 2 diminished chords stacked. An E diminished and an F sharp diminished. So they have to be a whole step apart. If it was a half, it would sound not good. This is dissonant enough, but not too dissonant. So I have, there's a root position chord there again. Now here, you could do the chord in the left hand or you can do it in the right hand. I chose the right hand, I believe, because I want to do this. I want to use some harmony, moving harmony there. Now it's good idea to be able to interchange or change from one hand to the next in terms of which one is playing the harmonic part of the song. In other words, the chordal part. In other words, to be able to play chords in the right hand like this, why it's good to practice these two techniques. The technique of the left hand block chord like this. And then practice it this way with the chord in the right hand. You see now, but now I'm having to put the left hand down on the bass line in the area of the bass player. So, but you want to learn those two techniques. So I'm just going to conclude this section by saying you can play with a metronome or you can play with a backing band. Band in the box. If I play with the metronome, then it's like this. That's a good way to start, and then after that, you know, the next step up would be playing with a backing band. But I always recommend you start with the metronome and put it on quarter notes or on 2 and 4. If you're going to swing it, then put it on 2 and 4. Now the solo version is more complicated, more complex, and more difficult to play because, you know, it involves the left hand doing a lot of different styles here and more complex things going on in the left hand. And also the right hand is expanded. But the thing is, the solo piano is really the definitive way of playing the piano. You want to be able to play solo so you can do solo gigs, play by yourself, and you can, you know, play concerts or whatever. In other words, play in people's houses for private parties. As a solo pianist, you're going to get more gigs than working with a group, usually. You know, depends how good you get at it. But anyway, the solo piano involves a few different techniques, one being the spread voicing, and that's where you spread the harmonies between the two hands. In other words, usually the left hand will play root and seventh or root and tenth or root and third, and the right hand takes up the melody and then some harmony. So you'd have this maybe. Like that. In other words, I'm playing root and tenth there to root and seventh to root and tenth, now root and seventh, root and third, root and seventh, root and tenth. So now I have videos on this, on the spread voicing. I have maybe 20 videos on spread voicing and going very slowly and, you know, breaking it down. I'm not going to do that here, but I do want to touch on the three or four different techniques. So there's the spread voicing. Now I used the arpeggiated movement a lot. Now that's just taking the spread voicing and expanding it, like up here. The left hand is playing more arpeggiated. Now I was playing rubato mostly. Now rubato just means I'm playing freely. I'm not really playing according to a metronome, which you have to play when you're playing with a backing track. You have to play right in tempo, but I'm doing this. Now the right hand, of course, is embellishing, but we see how that works there. And I'm using the pedal a lot. You have to use the pedal. Now this takes a lot of practice. I mean, this is, you know, years of experience of playing arpeggiated movement. Now, the other thing would be play some kind of stride, which just means the bass note and then chord. So on. So you have the bass note and then the chord. And then the other thing maybe I might have done is play a little bit of a pulse here, like. That's another technique. And something I didn't do would be to like play the George Shearing technique, which was. That's hard for me now because I have a bent finger, but that's another technique that is pianistic. In other words, something that would work well in solo as well as an ensemble playing. So you want to expand it. Now, watch some of my videos on solo playing to see how I break it down more so than I will on this video. But that's the two techniques I wanted to show you and have you compare them and see what interests you and what you want to work on. Signing off from the Jazz Ranch. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this version of Body and Soul with the version of the backing track and also the solo piano. And if you haven't ever written to me, please send me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. You know, take a plunge and leave a comment. You can say 2 words like, cool, man. Anyway, until next time, I wish you all the best. And of course, from my great friend upstairs, who looks down on us with pity, Hermie Dressel, as he always said, swing loose, and we'll see you next time around. Bye-bye.